As you can see from this title of the video, I have completed this book, Steve Jobs, and it was a 500-page read. So I learned a lot, and today in this video I'm gonna share it, as always, to help you and to help myself. So you can ask me that why do I even like, from where do I start reading? Did I start reading biographies like Steve Jobs? And I can give you a simple answer. I had this mentor, Charlie Morgan. He's a YouTuber slash entrepreneur. So he had the point that we learn from 20-year-olds who have made a couple of million, but there are people who had conquered the world, made tech startups like Microsoft, Apple, or businessmen like Benjamin Franklin or Henry Ford. And we refuse to study these kind of like great men and study and get advice from people who have just got the tip of the iceberg. So he told me, or basically he said that to everyone on the video, that you should read biographies, it will help a lot. You should start reading. So I read, and it was a fucking best experience, I guess. Even to be very honest, at the end I was a bit emotional as well. Like when Steve Jobs was actually dying, and what his last words, I will tell you in this video. So let's discuss first about what were the two biggest insights I got from his books. And the first one was focus. So we in life have this ability that we can focus or channel our whole energy on one primary thing, but we tend to diverge our focus over a lot of things. Like take me for example, I want to do YouTube, I am learning boxing, I picked up the guitar today, I am going to the gym, I love to read, I even write. So there are so many things which I am doing, and also helping with my father's business. So around 7 to 8 things I need to focus on. Do you think that I would be able to produce many great results in any one of them? Now I'm trying my best, but the answer would be that no. My focus would be split between all these 7 or 8 habits. But Steve Jobs, what was his genius that he did? He focused Apple on the 3 most essential things that needed to be done according to him. Like for example, the first, like, I can't particularly name an example, but he had this ability that he always shifted the focus in Apple, not from all these departments of random things, random projects, and he made his whole company primarily focus on 1 to 3 projects at a time, which helped them to singularly have this consciousness that okay, we all are doing the same thing, and thus they could collaborate a lot. The first thing. The second, they only had one thing in their mind: to make this project a success, and that's all they cared about. They worked night and day for that. They didn't have to think about those 50 other things which they had to do after completing this one project. They just needed to do this one thing, and which made them like overnight geniuses in my opinion, because he had this ability to make people get to their best possible state. What do I mean? That every one of us has a potential, and he made people go beyond them. Like I personally think that I can't go beyond this barrier, but to Steve Jobs this barrier was nothing. He wanted to go there. He wanted me to build a product that was there, and I thought that it was simply doesn't possible, but he just said that it was, and I needed it to do, and in the end I would do it. That was the beauty. There were so many people in his company which thought that it wasn't possible, but he made them do it, and they did. Is famously called the Steve Jobs reality distortion field. So yeah, that's great. Now the second great thing which we had was his brutal honesty. Now what do I mean by honesty? So he could tell the people in their faces that this was a shit idea or this was a shit product which they're making, and they are a piece of shit for that. Like in life, I don't have the balls, act personally, to tell anyone that the idea which he has is total dog shit. Even though I think it is, I would probably sugarcoat it. But he never did, and that was his beauty. He was able to fast track so much progress of Apple just because of his brutal honesty. Because he was a quote unquote perfectionist. If he thought that something was good, he would tell it, and if he didn't thought it was shit, either it was the thing which will change the world or it was a piece of total shit. So he never held back his opinion. He always told what he truly felt, which seems nothing like big in a way, but it is. But when you try to be as brutal and honest as possible, you get to things so faster, because then there are no second conversations about things. There is just one, that it's shit, we have to do it again. It's shit, we have to do it again. It's shit, we have to do it again. Oh fuck, it's great. So that's what he was such a great, that's the field in which he was so great. The brutal honesty part, which everyone struggles with in life. Like, we humans are social creatures. We have to flock in herds or we won't survive. We have survived the past 500,000 years by being social and being a goodie to everyone, because if we don't uplift others, they won't uplift us. But Steve Jobs didn't care about that. He thought that he was the special one, he was the enlightened one, and thus he thought that his tastes were far superior than anyone else's. There was one major thing that, let me give you one example. So there were school institutions, there were, like, Tim Cook told him that we should actually ask the users what they think we should, and to which he replied, the people don't know what they need until we give it to them. Like, fuck. And he even gave an example to that if for Henry Ford, the world's richest man at a time, asked people that what did they need, they would say a faster horse instead of a car. So his his final moral was that the people don't know, they are foolish. We will tell them what they need by giving it to them. So that was an example of his brutal honesty, what he thought. So these are some great insights which I had just today after reading the book. I would like to end this video by actually reading his ending quote, or the ending quote of Walter Isaacson, which wrote this book. So let me start. Here's fuck. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see differently. They are not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can do is ignore them. Walter Isaacson ends this great book with his final quote, that while some may see them as crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world actually do.